If we're not at a Disney park, we're dreaming about being there, and a cup of Joffrey's Coffee Disney Blend helps. But what about when you're at a Disney park? The Joffrey's Disney Kiosk and Restaurant Locator will make sure you never miss out. Whether it's a cool drink on a hot summer vacation or a great cup of coffee at a Disney signature restaurant, Joffrey's has you covered. Check it out at Joffreys.com.
Hey, Looper Nation, this is Kate Augusto coming to you from the adult pool at Aulani Resort and Spa in Hawaii. Wanted to encourage you all to book a trip to Aulani if you haven't already. We just enjoyed a week in Hawaii and absolutely love it. It's amazing here, so we suggest you all come. Aloha! Talk to you soon.
Please stand clear of the doors. Por favor, manténganse alejado de las puertas. To our new passengers, aloha and welcome aboard.
Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Tim Scott.
I'm Bob Collar.
This is ResortLoop.com, and Bob, how about that open
Tim.
from Katie?
Oh, come on.
Oh, she's killing us.
Wait, what? You're giving us an Aulani open? Oh, how wonderful would that be?
Oh, I can't even imagine.
Unfortunately, she only stayed a week. Oh, they'd have to kick me out of there. There's no way.
Have to take you out in a hail of gunfire.
Well, let's not. We don't need to go that far.
No, they probably just have to show you the bill. You're like, yeah, I got to go.
I'm somewhat reasonable. Tim.
Yes.
I can't think of any more exotic place to go for a Disney trip than Aulani. Can you? Can you tell by my tone? I'm kind
of lead me along.
Trying to.
Bob, there are many exotic places where Walt Disney World has properties.
For Disney?
Yes.
Like where?
You got your Tokyo. You got your Hong Kong. You got your Shanghai. Thanks, Shanghai.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks. What about Paris?
And there's Paris. Who can't forget?
Yeah, a good friend of the show, Crystal. She was just at Paris, Disneyland Paris.
Oh,
by the way.
Loopers are traveling the globe. That's why we have a special guest today, Bob.
We do.
Would you like to introduce him for us?
I would love to introduce him
awesome.
To us, to Looper Nation. Everybody, you guys know Russell Dameron. He was at our last Looper meet. The reason, by the way, hello, Russell.
Hello, Bob and Tim.
Hi, Russell. Thanks for joining us.
I probably should let him speak a little bit.
But it helps.
The reason that we brought Russell on, we asked him to be on, is because he has visited every Disney park around the globe.
Oh, awesome.
You want me to hang up on him, Tim? You okay?
No, I'm fine. I'm jealous. But I'm excited to hear about this.
Absolutely. So my first question, Russell.
Yes.
If there was one on Mars, would you be heading to Mars?
Well, if they had an employee discount for the airfare, I would be on the next flight. Yeah.
That's the new Mission to Mars attraction.
There you go. So, Russell, kind of run through what, tell us a little bit about each of the Disney parks that you've gone to.
Okay. Well, this summer, my family of my son and daughter and my wife flew out to Shanghai to visit the last of the 12 parks, and we had a wonderful time there. The resort is all you've heard about or seen. It's quite large and very busy, and the rides are indescribable. That is, the Tron is wonderful, and I can hardly wait, as I'm sure most of you can, for the ride to open in Disney World, Magic Kingdom. And Pirates is just fantastic.
Really?
Absolutely. It's one of a kind, and the effects work very well. I can't say they're 100%, but they work well enough that you really feel like you're part of the whole experience. And it's just it's great. It's their best ride probably. Well, yeah, I would put it above Tron slightly.
Okay. But everybody raves about Disneyland's pirates. Better than Disneyland in California's pirates?
Oh, now you're talking to a boy who grew up in San Diego, and I've been 4 times than I can count. Grew up there, obviously, and that would be my favorite part. Well, not quite. Yeah, I'd have to put it. Oh boy, classic-wise, you have to go with Disneyland. But with the nuances of the new ride there at Shanghai, Sunken Treasure, yes, that is just a fantastic ride.
Wow.
Nice.
That you have to go on again. It just has you have to repeat it many times.
Wow.
Yep.
That's quite the statement. I got to tell you, that is awesome.
I will say it doesn't have the 2 drops that Disneyland does, but Shanghai does have the the screens and all the other effects that are just up to date, current.
Yeah. Now, what else does Shanghai have that wowed you?
Oh boy, let's try to think here. Oh, Adventureland, their Adventure Isle. We weren't able to get on some of the rides. Unfortunately, the time we chose was late June, and school was out, as we found out after we got there. So they were sold out days. But we did do the adventure trails, and what they do, they're like 3 different trails that you hook up in a harness, and you walk through different areas. Kind of like, what's the new thing? The jungle, the treetops.
Oh yeah, where you walk along the treetops, different places.
It's not like zip lining, but you still walk, and so it's something that you would not find in the U.S. for liability reasons, I suspect.
Yeah.
But everybody who goes there loves to do it because it's just so different. And there are 3 different trails for different, likes. They aren't all the same. We did not do the Soarin' over the horizon attraction. We felt we could probably pick that up here in the States. And again, the lines there were anywhere up to 3 hours on some of these.
Wow.
Rides and event or attractions. So we just kind of had to pass a lot of them. We did like Fantasyland. They had a lot of neat little. We went on Peter Pan, which again all the parks have, but it has the more up-to-date visuals and the faces and the animatronics. It's a very nice ride, wonderful ride actually. It's worth going to, even though it's the same as the other parks. So and there's a lot of other things to see around there. We didn't watch much of the shows. We did see the parades go by. Again, they're in their Mandarin language, but they are very flashy and very, very nice to see as well. Then the fireworks were good at the evening. They were just as good as most of them, but not quite as, a little surprising, not as nice as the ones we find here in the States, but still entertaining.
Okay.
But the biggest thing we liked, ironically, would have been Disney Town, which is their downtown or Disney Springs outside the park. The restaurants, they had a great selection of places, Western as well as Eastern or Asian cuisines. The prices were quite reasonable, and they have a handful of stores there as well as their World of Disney store. So that was a nice surprise for us. We really enjoyed eating there more so than generally speaking inside the park.
Oh, interesting.
All right.
Yep.
So how close is that in respect to the park then?
Right next door. As a matter of fact, there is kind of a backdoor entrance that will take you in and out of the park just beyond their, I believe it's called, I'm not sure what it's called actually, the main street there. It's off to the right side toward the Tomorrowland area. So it is right next door. It's literally, just right there. It's kind of like Disneyland, very close to similar.
Oh, okay, gotcha. All right. Now, where did you stay when you stayed in Shanghai?
Well, we typically stay on property because we are DVC members. We've been DVC members for about 8 years now. But this time we stayed at a Novotel, about 5 miles, I'd say, off-site. It's actually the first subway station from the Disneyland Resort. Ironically, we did not take the subway. We took the bus service that was provided by the hotel that drops you off there at the resort. Okay. And that was just a little bit of a cost savings, but we were thinking about trying out the Toy Story Hotel or the Disneyland Hotel there as well. They're a little pricey. I'd say the Toy Story is around about $200 to $250 a night, and the Disneyland Hotel is about $250 on plus, depending. So, and we had a wonderful hotel. It was a Novotel, if I can say, and nice hotel and very nice breakfast buffet every morning. So it was a wonderful experience to be off-site, but near enough to the park, so we could just ride a bus in a 5-minute ride.
15.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because I've seen pictures. It looks like Shanghai Disney is in the middle of nowhere. It's in the middle of, fields. Is that not the case then?
Yes, that is the case. There are some buildings around it that they're putting up, and the road systems they have in that area are quite large. That is, they're 10 lanes minimum, it seems like. But it is between the airport and downtown Shanghai. So, yes, it is kind of alone by itself right now, but they're slowly building up to it and around it with commercial and residential buildings.
Oh, okay. All right.
Russell, how comfortable were you walking around Shanghai Disneyland? I mean, was the signage also in English? Did you know where you were? At any point, do you feel like maybe I'd rather be somewhere else? I've done the Disney park.
It wasn't that bad at all. Yes, the signage was in English. We felt that the cast members did speak some English as well. Not a lot per se, but there was at no time did we feel any hindrance to being in the park. They have English brochures or maps, so not at all. There was definitely a bilingual situation there between Cantonese and Mandarin and English.
Okay, great.
So you think the Tron ride's going to be a success here in the U.S.?
Oh, well, you do. Oh, well, oh my gosh, you do not know. It will be such a smashing success. I wish they could build it faster for you guys. Let alone it's wonderful. I have to say, at first I thought it was going to be a little shorter than I wanted. I thought that doesn't sound like it's long enough. However, it was plenty long the first time. I was happy to get off, but it was just great. So much different shooting out as you do like a rock and roller coaster start, and just looping around. That is looping. It means turning up and down and side to side. There's no obviously inverts or overheads, and there's enough visually to keep you occupied by looking at the other images of you're racing another, I guess the orange train or vehicle. So and you're going through all these obstacles. You're trying to pick up as many or before they do. That's the object of the ride. So yes,
okay.
And at nighttime it's just fab. I mean, it's great being outside. The lighting is just over the top, wonderful. It's everything that you see on the videos, and so yes, they can't build it soon enough for me as well as for the rest of the Disney fan club here.
Excellent. Tim, any more questions about Shanghai? Do we want to move on to another park?
And real quick, and maybe this will actually apply to all the other parks. I'm just kind of thinking of like quick service dining wise. If you just want something quick to eat in a park, what do they have? Do they have like hot dogs? What would a Shanghai Disney or a Tokyo Disney have?
Oh, all of them have fabulous options.
Okay.
Asian as predominantly as well as Western. But yes, they have chicken, they have hamburgers, they have barbecue, ribs. They'll have their dumplings and their Asian rices and bowls. We had no trouble finding any kind of food. We ate at Tomorrowland one day, and I'm trying to think the second day. It escapes me now. I think we ate by Main Street. And both times, I have picky eaters for kids, and they were able to find things to eat. But yes, a wide selection, a wide variety. Corn on the cob and typical American fare could be found at some of the restaurants there, as well as the Asian cuisine.
Oh, okay, great.
Yep,
great.
Very good. So where are you going to take us next, Russell?
Well, let's take a quick trip to Hong Kong. We were there 3 years ago, And it's a smaller park, unfortunately. It's built some years ago. I think it's pushing 15 or so.
Yeah, probably close.
But
yeah.
it has land to expand, and they just opened up a new resort. We stayed at the Hong Kong Disneyland Resort there and loved it. It was wonderful. It had a great pool of slides. The kids were in heaven. They have a Hollywood or Art Deco themed hotel there as well. The park is easy to get to by taxi from the airport or by subway from downtown Hong Kong. The prices are quite reasonable, as they are in Shanghai as well. Pricing in Shanghai and Hong Kong are fairly reasonable for taxis and the such.
Okay. Now you said at the Disneyland Hotel?
Yes, at this time.
And that looks like, I'm looking at pictures right now, that looks an awful lot like the Grand Floridian.
Very much so. Yes, exactly. Almost a carbon copy in a lot of ways. And they have a maze out back as well. I guess we call them I think a maze. When you get lost.
Mm-hmm. The hedge maze.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
So, and it's right on the bay. It actually faces downtown Hong Kong. You can see Victoria Island across the way. So it has a unique. It's a little I don't say discerning, but it overlooks the bay, and they're like, oh, there's downtown. Okay, well, that's where I am. That's
wild.
But the park is a little smaller. But again, they've added on quite a lot in the last 4 or 5 years. And it's getting much better. They have bigger plans, I think, for the future for Marvel attractions to come on.
Oh, okay.
And we are looking forward to go back and picking those up in the near future. But when we had went, they had just opened up Grizzly Gulch and Mystic Manor. And those 2 fantastic, wonderful rides, nicely themed areas, unique, that is, to attractions. That is, Grizzly Gulch was more like Everest, Mount Everest, or Expedition Everest, my bad, where you go backwards. Part of the trail.
Oh, yeah.
You stop and go backwards, then you go forwards again. So, and it's well themed around a, Western Railway mine themed. So, again, a good roller coaster, nothing too extravagant, so the kids can go on it and such.
Okay.
Mystic Manor is their haunted mansion. It's a trackless ride, and there's a story that you just go through the rooms and observe the magic that occurs and such. So again, another well-themed, over-the-top, Disney style, attention to detail, indoor ride, dark ride.
Yeah, people say that is spectacular.
Absolutely, much so. I wish we had a version of it here in the States. Truthfully, I really did enjoy the Mystic Manor experience.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. And they have a little bit of a Toy Story land over there.
Right, just like Paris does. They have the 3 rides: the parachute drop, the Slinky Dog, and then the RC Racer rides as well. So the park is, like I say, smaller. It's the only park, ironically, that has a natural mountain behind the castle.
Oh, okay.
Which is quite unusual. As you're taking pictures, you go, wait a minute, that's a mountain. I've never seen a mountain behind the castle before.
That forced perspective almost makes the mountain look real.
Well, exactly. However, unfortunately, it does have Disneyland's castle, so it's a little small. That doesn't help the perspective a little. But I do understand they're working on that right now, and they're tweaking the castle for future opening, so they can actually do shows, I believe, a little, do projections and things of that nature. I've heard.
Okay. Okay. So here's my big question. Okay. First, is there a jungle cruise? I see there's a jungle cruise in Hong Kong. Is there one in Shanghai?
No, there is not one in Shanghai.
Okay. Now, second question, most important. Jungle Cruise is such a hit or miss depending upon the cast member that you have, because it's all shtick. The whole thing is just having fun. Was it lost in translation being in Hong Kong?
No, Hong Kong actually has an English version along with the Cantonese.
Oh, okay.
They have, and I'm not so sure. I believe they might have a Mandarin, but I do know they have English and Cantonese versions of the ride. So,
do you choose? How does that work?
Yes. You would choose the boat or vehicle to go on based on the language.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, that's very cool. Very cool. All right. Well, other than Mystic Manor and the Geyser Gulch, what any other unique areas that they have?
Not exactly. No, they have a Space Mountain. They have Small World. A couple theaters for shows. And they just took down the Autopia ride to put in the new Marvel Land or themed area. But they did open up Iron Man. I want to say last year. I think in 2016 they opened up Marvel or Iron Man, which I understand. We haven't gone. It's the Star Tours simulator-based ride.
Okay.
That they have. So we look forward to going over there when they add a few more things.
Absolutely.
But
yeah.
That's roughly about it. Again, it's a little smaller park than the others, but it's growing. Definitely growing.
Very good.
And quite reasonable as far as pricing to get there, and to stay there as well. And of course, Hong Kong is just a fun place to visit. It really is.
Why is that?
Well, there's just so much going on and so much to see, and the food and the shopping there are, just typical Chinese, and it's all good. It's wonderful. Yeah. And you see so much of it on TV and the movies, you're like, well, someday you'll get there. When you get there, it's like, oh yeah, I've seen this, looks familiar. But you must go up the Victoria Peak Tram ride. And that is a wonderful little tram that goes up the side of the hill to give you a panoramic view of the bay, of the other territories, Kowloon and Tai Kak, and of course Victoria Island. And it's just, and at nighttime, all the buildings light up. They have LED lighting that they use, and they have night shows that you can watch from the downtown or across the bay or up on the mountain as well. So yes, they put on a light show for you downtown Hong Kong.
Wow.
Very cool.
Very cool.
Going back to Shanghai, though, what outside of the Disney parks did you guys do?
We did take a day, go downtown. We took a big red bus tour. Had a wonderful time getting on off the bus. Went to Pudong, which is the newer section with the taller buildings that you see. Went to the Disney store there. Had a wonderful time. The clouds were low. We could not go up the towers to see the observations, but that was fine. We could just enjoy the Bund, the old main road that the colonial powers kind of built a couple 150 years ago, and that's the place to see and be seen. And then they have a couple of shopping that you can visit and see current shopping, and then of course a little more traditional, older Chinese wares. And we went to one of those places called the Yuan Gardens, and they have restaurants and shops in there, as well as some authentic or replica buildings or temple. I don't want to say temples per se, but very traditional Chinese architecture. And it's a nice little mixture of everything. And we really enjoyed shopping and looking around there, and like to go back and do some more when we get a chance.
Now, Russell, I'm excited to hear about Tokyo, because I've heard a lot about this Disney Sea, that it's the best theme park ever designed. Would you agree?
Tim, I cannot disappoint. Yes, it is.
Wow.
It is my favorite park. It barely beats Disneyland, in my view. It is just everything that you've heard and then some. I think the biggest thing to take away from the place is that their attention to detail is more in evidence there than anywhere else. And it's so unlike any other Disney park that it really does I don't want to say take your breath away, but it really does, kind of, it involves all your senses. You're really observing and listening, and there's a few odors around, smells that they have added, and
Wow.
the sights, among anything else, are just really fantastic. And there's so much to see in the diversity between, the Arabian coast as well as Mysterious Island, which is their, as I guess you would say, their castle or weenie to draw you in, the Mount Prometheus, and then over to the Mediterranean and the American harbor areas. It's just nothing like you ever seen in any other traditional Disney park. And it's with the Disney backing, but it also has the Japanese, flair, if you could say that, where they just do it over the top. There's nothing else to say about that. So it is a wonderful place. If you ever get anywhere close to Tokyo, you really have to go there.
Wow.
Wow. Now, where did you stay when you went there?
The first time we stayed 3 years ago, we stayed at the Miracosta Hotel, which is the hotel that is on the side of the resort, the Tokyo Disney Sea. That is, it's the entrance. You walk under or through the hotel to get into the park, not the train station as you would any other park. And our hotel view was of the Venetian side, so we can see the canals, the Venice canals that they had with the little gondolas, and then the American waterfront beyond it. They also have the Porto Paraiso view, which shows the Mediterranean harbor, which where all the shows happen in the lagoon, as well as Mount Prometheus and the rest of the park. That's your, over the top, hotel viewing, site. And then they have a third area which faces the other direction. And the second time we were at Tokyo, we stayed at their newer value resort called Celebration, which is about 5 miles away, at two resorts that they purchased about 2 years ago, I understand, and repurposed and opened last year. And they have regular bus service to take you to and from the park.
Okay. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah, Tokyo Disney Celebration. Interesting.
Yes. The pricing there is much more reasonable. It's around $200 a night, whereas Miracosta and the other two hotels, the Disneyland Hotel as well as the Ambassador, start around $350-ish, give or take. And these are all seasonal prices. They can fluctuate some. But there are 6 nearby hotels that are part of the resort, and 2 of them, one is Sheraton, the other one's Hilton. They do run specials, and those are the 2 American named hotels that people like to go to. You're nearby, but you aren't part of the resort, so it's a nice compromise. And they're wonderful places in their own right too.
Okay, in relation, almost kind of like how Disneyland has the hotels around it. Is that kind of the reference?
Absolutely. They're on the Resort Loop that we recorded our intro on.
What?
The monorail there goes around the 2 parks and it stops at the train station as well as the other hotels. And in Japan, they cannot offer, if a train makes a second stop, in other words, it's more than one stop, it must be for hire. That is, it's part of the Japanese rail network. So it's not a complimentary service. So you have to pay to go on the Resort Loop. However, if you do stay at the 3 Disney resorts, they will comp you the ride on the monorail. But it's relatively inexpensive. I think it's like around 65 cents to $1 for one trip around. Or you can get a day pass for like $2.50, something like that.
Oh, wow.
It's not that much. And it's all in the honor system. It's all automated. There are no operators in the cars or monorails. It's all automatic.
Gotcha.
Right.
So yes, I think it's like 13 or so 14 minutes around the whole loop. So it goes in one direction. You just get on and get off wherever you need to in front of the 2 resorts or the hotels.
Very cool. And what's the view look like?
Oh, it's wonderful. I mean, from the monorail, yeah.
You can see everything.
You can see everything. You kind of go behind the scenes a little bit. You can see a little bit behind 2 parks. But yes, it's a wonderful view. They got the Mickey Mouse handrails. They got the Mickey Mouse windows. They sometimes put screens or overlays on the cars, and they do a really nice job of it.
Very good. Now you said you stayed at the Miracosta when you were there.
Yep.
Tell us about that, because that looks incredible.
It is. I'm afraid to say I cannot say otherwise. It is. The convenience is incredible. You just take a few steps, literally outside the lobby. You walk down a private entrance into the resort. You're also given the 15-minute head start to park opening when you're there, and the insides are just gorgeous. The rooms are very Americanized. That is a split bathroom. The shower tub is in one room, and then the sink is in the middle, and then the toilet or bidets on the other side. So it's kind of like the split cruise line room where a couple people can get right at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So a traditional room in that regards. The beds are a little interesting, though. They seem to be more like full-size beds instead of queens, but they only look like they will allow you for one adult or such. But it's rather interesting. You have to look online and kind of do some research to see how many people can stay in the rooms. We were able to get 5 in our room using a trundle underneath one of the beds as well as the sofa. So that worked out fine.
I'm looking at they've got a Tuscany side, a Venice side, Porto Paradiso side. So you kind of get the gist of what the theming of this hotel is. But this is what's so crazy. They have what's called a triple room, where it says capacity 3 adults,
Yes.
but there's 3 beds.
Yes.
Absolutely. And those beds do not look too small, do they? Look rather kind of large.
Yeah, they look like you said, they look like maybe queen beds, something like that.
But it almost looks like 2 king-size pillows on there also, on each bed. You know?
Yes, there are the 2 pillows, aren't there? Yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand that myself. I have to agree. Some of the Disneyland hotel rooms have an alcove for children. It's a little smaller. Some of the themed Peter Pan, I want to say, and Tinkerbell rooms.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I've never been able to resolve that discrepancy between Asian rooms or beds and American size beds myself.
Right.
But there's plenty of room on the beds themselves. They are not as small as they lead you to believe. They are large enough for 2 adults.
Okay. Interesting. I've never seen a room with 3 beds in it before. That's amazing to me.
And in this one room, the beds are pushed together.
Okay.
With a shared duvet. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then this Disney, the Celebration Hotel, ridiculous, the artwork, the colors are just incredible.
Yes, each of the rooms has that print. We were on the Discovery side, I believe. So we had the Adventure and Frontierland.
Okay. Yeah.
Mapping, and it was beautiful. It was just wonderful. We got the bunk bed for the kids, and I can tell you that the rooms are probably a little smaller than they seem in the photographs. As I understand, it's more of a traditionally sized Asian or Japanese hotel room. But still, for 4 people, plenty of room. They also had the split bathroom. And we found something unique one night. We looked up, and there's glow-in-the-dark spots or stars in the ceiling.
Oh, really?
Nice.
When you turn the lights off, they glow, have a little sparkle. So I don't know if they added that themselves. I suspect they did, versus they were being in there before.
Yeah.
But again, the split bathroom was wonderful to get ready in the daytime, and not as much room as the Miracosta room, but we weren't spending a lot of time in that place anyway, so it was fine.
Right.
Absolutely fine.
Right. Again, I'm seeing rooms with 3 beds, but these are much, much smaller. They're almost, dare I say, hospital bed size beds. I mean, they're small beds.
And that's more of a traditional Japanese style room as you would find in other hotels around the area.
Gotcha. I'm going to date myself. It's almost like Rob and Laura Petrie's bed from the Dick Van Dyke Show. So, they had the separate beds. Kids, Google it.
Yep.
Anyway, that's awesome. So, other than picking up the Tokyo Disney Sea and bringing it to the U.S., what at Tokyo Disneyland would you like to see brought over to? The US?
Yes. Well, let's see. I'm looking at the map right here as we speak. What's unique about it, and I think it's one drawback for most American visitors, is their World Bazaar entrance. It's a covered walkway of the Main Street area, and it does change the ambiance somewhat of your traditional outdoor park, as we're all familiar with. What is unique about it, though, is that about midway, they have an opening to the left or right, so you can slip out and go to Tomorrowland or Adventureland without having to walk completely to the hub, let's say. So that is nice for crowd control. I think they had to look into that. The cover is for the weather, unfortunately, the rain and the cold they have there throughout the year. But outside of that, the park is beautiful. It's more like Magic Kingdom than it is like Disneyland, but you will find a few similarities with the Disneyland park. The railroad they have on site, again, it's a ride, an attraction. It only makes one stop. You get on, get off in the same place. And that goes around Westernland and Adventureland. What's unique about it is they have a critter country, kind of like California, but they have with their Splash Mountain, but they have a real nice it's Grandma Sarah's Kitchen, I believe. Yeah. And this is their quick service. And it's really unique, well themed. You go underground, and so you're like in a hovel with other, rabbits and other animals, and you have your meals, and they have wonderful meals there, as well as nearby at the Queen of Hearts banquet, I want to say. Yes, banquet hall. And that's, again, themed to the Alice in Wonderland. And so those are two wonderful quick service eateries they have inside the park at Tokyo Disneyland. The castle is wonderful. They also have the nighttime shows, the projection shows on the castle. The fireworks are little. They aren't as large, I guess. They're a little shorter in duration as the American parks. I think it's for the neighborhood issue that they must run into. But what they do make up for it is they have a new electric parade that they just started called Dream Lights, and they use LEDs like you see in Paint the Magic.
Oh, okay.
Is that no Paint the Night? Is that? I'm sorry.
Well, yeah. What
at
is
Disneyland? Mm-hmm. Paint the Night at Disneyland, I think.
Yes. And so it has the technical abilities of the new Paint the Night effect, but it's all done with the electrical Main Street or electrical parade floats. If I can, the traditional floats. Mm-hmm. So they have the dragon, they have all the characters, and they could do multiple things, or the LED effects, change the colors, sequence them so they go through with ribbons and all different kind of colors or different effects. So it's way over the top as far as parades go. It is wonderful. I'd like to see that brought to the stateside for everybody to see. If you see it on video, it doesn't quite do it justice, as we say, but it's a fantastic effect of the LED features that they're now involving themselves with. The rest of the park, well, they're right now they're taking down the Utopias and they're going to put in the Beauty and the Beast castle, restaurant, theater, and ride. So that will be wonderful when it opens in a few years, I believe. And the other unique ride, there's two more unique rides they have. One is Monsters, Inc., and that is a Buzz Lightyear attraction without keeping score.
Okay.
So you have a flashlight and you shoot it at the Monsters, Inc. emblem, and things happen. Or events happen, things pop up or they disappear or they change and such as you go through the story. The other ride is Pooh's Honey Hunt. And this probably is one of the best rides they have in the park. And it's unusual. People get a little confused by saying, you said Pooh's Honey Hunt, didn't you? I said, yes, Winnie the Pooh. Well, if I'm not mistaken, it's the first trackless ride that was built. And I don't know how they can do any better. It is just total immersion. You walk through the pages of the book, getting into the ride, as well as the cottage outside. You start outside and work your way through. And everything is impeccable. Nothing is scratched. Nothing is marred or damaged. It's just in perfect condition. They keep everything tip-top shape. You get in honey pots and you go through the story of Pooh, and their smells. They have honey. They have a room where you separate in your car. You separate with 3 other cars, and you do different things. So you can go on the ride again and enjoy a whole different experience because you're in a different part of the line or such. So, there's just so much to it, and the lines are, well, it's their most popular ride. The fast passes will run out there before anywhere else. If that tells you. They still have the old traditional paper fast passes as well at Tokyo Disneyland and Disney Sea. They don't have the newer versions yet.
Oh, interesting.
So you can get those first thing in the morning. But yeah, Pooh's Honey Hut would probably be the one ride I like to see out of Disneyland brought stateside for everybody.
Cool.
Nice.
That sounds really good. I like the idea of these rides that change. They're different every time you ride them. That would be awesome. That's why I love like Star Tours. Star Tours can be a different ride each time you ride it.
Well, if I can explain a little more, visually it's the same ride. It's absolutely the same ride, but you're in a different part of the rooms that you go through, and so you experience things at a different time. And so, what you can't see the first time, you can see the second time because there's so much to see.
Right.
It's unfortunate that there's no screens on these rides, so they can't change like Star Tours.
Yeah.
There's enough of the other that it's just it's easily we ride 2 or 3 times every time we go. You just cannot because it's just so interesting and so well done, like everything else at Disney. But this really does kind of float to the top, I think. And the Imagineers have to be given kudos for this because, again, I think it was one of the first trackless rides ever put in the parks, and it's I think they really outdid themselves.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Very,
Nice.
very cool. Again, the Jungle Cruise, any issues with the Jungle Cruise?
Well, yes, this one does not have English. It's in Japanese. So things don't quite come over in translation, but you get the gist of it, and the jokes and such. There are a few unique, as there are in Hong Kong. A few scenes are slightly different toward the end of each ride. But a vast majority of the rides are very similar to the American rides. Yep. Let's see, what's Thunder?
Big Thunder Mountain
is the same, generally speaking. Maybe a slight tweak there as well.
Country Bear Theater is Country Bears singing in Japanese.
Well, yes, we went.
That is awesome.
Listen to it in Japanese, yes.
Nice.
I want to go just to see that. That would be awesome.
I want to see Big Al.
Big Al.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget Tim and Tim's favorite character at Disney. Did you get a chance to enjoy the Enchanted Tiki Room? Stitch presents Aloha Ikoa Komo Mai?
Yes.
What'd you think?
What was that?
Oh, it's everything you can imagine, I'm sure. And then some. We did go on it. Yes, it is also in Japanese. However, I want to say there is a song. If I remember right, there was a song in English. They did sing a part of it in English. But yeah, Stitch does kind of, and they do like Stitch over there. It's a little more, more of a favorite character of theirs.
Right.
And, yeah, it was nice. I can't say we went back for a second though, Tim. I'm sorry. We did. Enjoyed it. But the other big character over there is Duffy. Duffy and his friends.
Oh, yeah.
Very hugely big over there. And they actually have stands that you can put Duffy on, like a little railing, a little platform, and take a picture of him with the park in the background, or you next to him, or something.
Oh, wow.
So, they really do enjoy Duffy.
Yeah.
Other
I
thing.
think-
Go ahead.
Isn't Duffy in Tokyo where Duffy kind of originated anyway?
Yes, he did
Yeah.
at Disney Sea. Yes, he originated over in Disney Sea, and that's his home, per se. The other big thing about the Tokyo parks are the popcorn. You can't talk about Tokyo without the popcorn and the popcorn buckets. Here in my house, I'm looking at 11 popcorn buckets that we picked up over the 2 trips.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Mr. Potato Head, Nemo, R2-D2, a couple Mickey shapes, and I want to say a Tron light cycle from Shanghai.
Oh, wow.
And let's see. The green aliens from Toy Story.
Oh, how cool.
Nice.
They are absolutely wonderful. There's about, I'd say about 8 flavors, ranging from caramel, traditional caramel and honey, to a soy sauce and curry.
Really?
Interesting.
Yes. On the map, they will show you the location and what's available as far as the flavor. Now, if you get to a cart that you don't like the flavor, but you like the popcorn bucket, they'll give you a ticket, and you can take that ticket to another popcorn stand, and they will give you the popcorn.
Hey,
Oh, how nice is that?
Yes, wonderful.
that's nice.
Our favorite is no longer available, unfortunately. It's called corn pottage. And that sounds kind of odd. You put corn on popcorn, but it really was a good flavor. I mean, it really did bring it out. It's unusual. I know in the past they had jalapeno, and I don't think they have it anymore. It doesn't look like it. So they do change the flavors on occasion, but they're quite popular.
Very, very cool.
Very.
Nice little collector thing
Yeah.
to get. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And always a showstopper when you bring on the airplane home.
I bet.
Oh.
Yeah. Very good. Well, Tim, should we rush over to the other side of the continent and go to Paris?
To a different continent, yes, I think we should do that.
Whatever.
Let's cover a little bit
I've
of
never
Paris.
been good with geometry anyway.
Exactly.
so.
Russell, what are your thoughts on Paris, Disneyland Paris?
Well, my thoughts are I like the castle the most of all the parks.
Mhm.
My wife tends to like Shanghai a little better, and Shanghai does have a very nice castle. It's wonderful. It's a little big, but it does suit its purpose, and it does have a lot of things going on within the castle and around it. But for style, I have to lean toward Paris, and it does have a little treat for you in the dungeon of the castle that you may have heard about, and it does reside there, and it will stir at times if you walk by, so you have to be very careful. The park is wonderful. The resort is nice. We stayed at the Sequoia Lodges there on site, and we enjoyed them. They're very, I would say, not exactly like Grand Californian, but similar, or to the Wilderness. Kind of rustic, outdoor California. Tried to emulate Frank Lloyd Wright, but they were very nice hotels there nearby. And I enjoyed the Big Thunder Railroad. It's the one that goes under the water, and the ride takes place on an island and then comes back under the water for its dispatch. So the station's on the shore, you might say, and the ride continues on the island. The other fantastic attraction there is Phantom Manor, their haunted house. And that's a Western theme, and they do a great job of it. It's just, well, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say it's in French. Yeah, that one's in French. But it doesn't matter. It still works. And it's a very nice twist to the traditional haunted houses that we have in the other parks. Their Adventureland's a little interesting. It's a little broken up. Pirates is nice. There's a playground for the kids, or a little activity area where they can run around outdoors, like, kind of jungle gym a little bit there. And let's see, the Fantasyland area is a little opened up. They have a maze, Alice in Wonderland maze, that everybody likes to enjoy. And over in Tomorrowland, which they call Discoveryland, is a their Space Mountain is more of the Jules Verne theme.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah, steampunk.
Right.
And unfortunately, the time we were there, that was shut down. So we were not able to enjoy that ride. I hear wonderful things about it and such. And that's about it.
Now, what about because it's coming to Walt Disney World? What about the Ratatouille ride?
Oh, unfortunately, we missed that. They were building it. We were there. And
Okay.
I can't speak to that, but I can only imagine if it's anything like Mystic Manor and Pooh's Honey Hunt, that it's got to be top shelf. It just looks wonderful, I have to say.
Very
So
good.
I am definitely looking forward to that myself.
Very good. Very good.
Awesome.
So my big question to you, which one's your favorite park? Because you've done Disney World, Disneyland. Favorite park of all of them?
Well, I'm going to have to defer to Tim's choice, and that'll be Tokyo Disney Sea.
There you go.
Wow.
That's what I'm hearing from everybody.
Wow. Well, that says a lot.
We
You know,
didn't talk much about it, unfortunately, but the mysterious island with their 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea dark ride, as well as a Journey to the Center of the Earth. And these are all, Journey to the Center of the Earth is your test track themed attraction.
Okay. Right.
And
right.
20,000 Leagues is more like a Peter Pan where you hang from the ceiling and they give you the visual illusion of going underwater. That's done quite well. And it works extremely well, as a matter of fact. And the visuals in that place are just incredible. Again, you feel like you're on an island or with a volcano and you're back 1890s, Jules Verne, H.G. Wells. The food in the parks is wonderful. The snacks are great. You cannot go wrong with any of the snacks. And then their Tower of Terror has a different theme to ours, as another adventurer that kind of has a mishap with a mysterious idol. And it just, gives you the whole different perspective on that. And then, of course, their Indiana Jones Temple of the Hidden Star, is it? I believe?
Crystal Skull.
Thank you, Crystal Skull. Again, just like Disneyland, it's fabulous.
Right.
It's great. The only thing I could kind of tease people with is right next door to that is a little open property that was once rumored to be a Frozen attraction, but Oriental Land Company, which runs the parks, hasn't said anything more about it, which we're all kind of disappointed at because we were really looking forward to that themed area that they were going to put in that had a ride as well as restaurants and shops and a show themed, as Arendelle area.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
That would be interesting.
here's hoping that they kind of find the money for that and
Yeah.
put it in. Because it would be, I think, a great addition to that park and a perfect fit to that corner of the park.
Sure. Now, when you were out of the States, was it obvious that you were the foreigner, that you were the visitor,
Oh, Bob?
or were there an awful lot of U.S. folks there as well?
I'm glad you asked that question. The answer is yes, absolutely. In Asia, you are definitely the minority. To where if you see anybody who is a Caucasian or you'd say American, 9 times out of 10 they're probably Australian or they're British.
Oh, wow.
Or you get the one out of 100 that's an American. Yes, we are. You could definitely feel that. Not so because people are looking at you. People are staring, I should say, a little more than what you would be accustomed to. And do not be afraid. You will be asked, more than likely, to have a picture taken with them. A selfie, if you might, with others. The kids more so than the adults. My kids were asked many times in China and Tokyo to have selfies taken. I can proudly say that I was asked once around the Tron ride at Shanghai. My wife, unfortunately, has not had that privilege. She was not asked for a selfie. But yes, you do. Being of a taller nature, and we stand a little taller than the Oriental folks, and our hair colors are different than the black you normally see. So that can help out for spotting people or seeing ourselves.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah.
In that regard. However, the downside is, I will tell you, is that they like to bring along umbrellas. And those umbrellas tend to be about my eye height.
Oh, right.
So you have to watch out sometimes with those umbrellas. And
Right.
they use them more in the summer or in the sunny days than they do on the rainy days because they don't want the sun. It's unusual. The other thing about Paris we found, as a side note, was we kind of dressed a little more colorfully than the French did. They were more in the blacks. In the fall time, though, I have to say. More blacks and grays. And we were wearing blues and pinks and whites, and we were not meshing. We were kind of clashing with the color scheme over in Paris. But that happened to be, like I said, in the fall time, so it was a little cooler than
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
It's 20 hours.
Well, that is that must be our cue right there.
I think that's what it is.
Tim,
Yes.
I think that's all I've got for Russell at this time.
Right.
We may have to have him back on soon.
He's a font of knowledge. I love it. Russell,
Absolutely.
Russell, thanks for joining us on the show.
Well, thank you very much, gentlemen. I've enjoyed the honor and privilege to speak to you and your guests and your everybody out there in the Resort Loop podcast.
It was our honor, actually.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So
Everybody, I'm Tim Scott. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, the website, ResortLoop.com, and over at ResortLoopTravel.com.
I'm Resort Loop Bob. Most social media. Don't forget to like us on Facebook, rate us on iTunes, subscribe to the show just to make it easy on yourself. And what else should folks do, Tim?
Everybody go out there and share the gateway to the magic.
See you, everybody. Thanks for listening to the show. But now you want to share your love of Disney, right? Unfortunately, a lot of our friends, family, and coworkers just don't share the same enthusiasm we do for all things Disney. Well, now MyDizMatch.com has made it even easier with the all-new MyDizMatch apps for iOS and Android devices. Just download the MyDizMatch app and connect with new Disney friends today. And now, for a limited time, you'll get your first month of full membership free just for signing up. Look for the new MyDizMatch apps on iTunes and Google Play and start connecting with real Disney friends today.